welcome back to my game development journey. Today is going to be all about cross-platform, game art, and creativity. So I was still doing my programming internship, but I kept on working on the game. It still was my primary focus. I kept adding small gameplay tweaks, for example a little wall hang, so that people could wall jump more easily. I've been working on the levels and making sure that new players can get used to playing the game, and I've been testing it over and over again. I've also added a little level browser menu and proper UI to do saving and loading for myself, and other small things around the game. At the company I worked at, the main things they did was port games to mobile. So naturally I wanted to try out Jello on phone as well, and so I did. I made a build, and actually the controls felt pretty natural, but the game not so much. And that's when I realized that it would kind of need to be a different game. The scale would need to be different, levels would need to be different, and I would have to rethink a lot of things. And that's just not the game I want to make. I want to focus on controller support, and I want to make the game best for that type of input. However, to make it run on phone, I wrote some really nice code. I like things to be modular, and I don't like to write extra code to do stuff for different platforms. So I have this really nice component that enables and disables objects based on the platform they're at. That way I don't need to write extra code, and I can just have a separate type of component for mobile and a separate type for PC. That work that I did didn't go to waste. And now I can use the same stuff to have it run on the Switch, and that's pretty good. Obviously, this grid was never meant to be in the final game. I just made it there so that it's easier to make the levels. But at some point it just looked so bad I wanted to replace it with something, and I came up with this. It's not great, I know, it's not great, but at some point I thought it was gonna be enough. I thought, well, I have great gameplay, and this just is just a pleasant thing for the eye, and it needs to just show the practicalities. Boy, I was wrong, but I don't regret anything. I still think that art should follow gameplay and not the other way around, and I'm glad I didn't rush into it before thinking. Later on, I actually did some good thinking on what art style I should pick and what games I should be inspired by, but that's a talk for another time. Closer to the end of my internship, I made it pretty clear to my coworkers that bug fixing and porting is not something that I really aspire to do. So if there's anything creative that I can do in the company, please put me on that. And that's what they did. I've been put to work on a game that we've been making internally, and I really liked it. I like doing creative things, I like thinking about the design, I like talking about it with my coworkers, coming up with solutions, making new systems. I love that stuff. And while working on that game, I've realized something pretty important to me, that I don't have infinite creative output. The more I started thinking about that game, the less I was thinking about Jello, and that's not something I want to do. Finishing up the chapter about my internship, I'd like to say that I learned something very important, and it's not about how to nicely fix bugs, and it's not about cross-platform development, not about all that stuff. I've learned that I can only do so much. I've learned that I only have so much creative output, and I want to focus as much of it as possible on Jello. And that is why, for the second half of my graduation year, I've really decided to go full-time on Jello. I've already had a different internship lined up, and that one would probably be more pleasant than the first one, but I wanted to go full in. I wanted to focus my efforts on the game, and it might be the last time that I get to do it. So why not? And picking Jello as my graduation project was definitely one of the best decisions I made in my life. I made so much progress, and I can't wait to share it with you. So maybe, if you like, subscribe to the channel to follow the story, and I'll see you another time.